Hey everyone, how's it going? This is TheKillerNacho, and I have a battle against KingDaddyDMAC for one of his subscriber specials. And he's a really cool guy. I want you to check him out after this battle. He's a cool guy that I've had the pleasure of talking to a lot recently, and I think he's underappreciated and he needs more subs, so do that. So anyway, I lead with Aerodactyl, he leads with Swampert. And yeah, I'm just going to taunt, and he predicts that and just goes Surf. And now I'm just going to set up Stealth Rocks, and that's pretty cool for me. Unfortunately for me, though, my Aerodactyl goes down. But now that he's already taunted, that gives me a free switch into Gyarados, which I can, set up. And I'm just going to go for the Dragon Dance. And he goes out into a Jirachi. And I know I probably can't one-hit KO this thing, because I see the leftovers. I know these things are usually bulky, and usually bulky ones are like Calm Mind with Thunderbolt. So I kind of expected that Thunderbolt. Went into Mamoswine, and yeah, that was pretty sweet. And this is a Mamoswine that I'm using for the first time. I was using a Mamoswine on Shoddy for a little while that I really liked, and this is Choice Band Mamoswine, so I just go for the Earthquake, and look how much that does to Swampert. And Swampert's supposed to be physically bulky, and that's going to be a 2-hit KO. So I'm just going to try to go for it. He does switch into Flygon, and I'm just going to stay in. He knows that I'm scarfed, choice in some way, probably banded, so he just goes for the U-turn, but I decide to stay in to see what else he has that resists Earthquake, and it turns out that it looks like only Flygon can resist Earthquake on this team, because he goes out into Scizor, which is going to take quite a lot from Earthquake. Doesn't quite die, but quite a lot. So he goes for the Roost on the switch, which is a pretty good play. He needed to get some health back. He doesn't want a Scizor to be that damaged, obviously. And yeah, I go out into Gyarados, and I'm going to taunt on the switch because anything I've seen that he goes into gets hurt by taunt. I don't want this Jirachi setting up substitutes or Calm Minds or Wishes or whatever the heck that thing does. So yeah, I go out into Jolteon, and that's because I was hoping his attack move would be Flash Cannon, but it's not. It's Psychic, and that sucks. So I'm going to go out into Metagross for the resist. But he also switches. He goes out into Flygon. Obviously, this is not a good matchup for me. I'm going to go out into Gyarados to resist or be immune to the the Earthquake. And yeah, I dodged the Earthquake. That's pretty cool. And I'm just going to go for the oh yeah, I just switched. I double switched. That was a great switch on my part, because I'm like, I know he's going to go into Jirachi, so I'm going to go out into Mamoswine. So yeah, I'm going to go for the Earthquake, and he goes into Vaporeon, which I haven't seen yet, and I get a crit here, which really hurts him. This hurts him bad, because this Vaporeon would have been able to somewhat wall my team. I mean, I do have some outs to it. My Jolteon is an out. I do have Thunder Punch in my Metagross. My Mamoswine, he can't take 2 Mamoswine Earthquakes, but still, that was key. That was a bad crit for him. So yeah, I go out into Gyarados against his Infernape because I don't want to take a Fighting or Fire move on my Mamoswine. So yeah, he resists the Overheat, and that's pretty nice. He has to switch. He goes on Jirachi. I just went for the Waterfall. I'm not really sure why. I really should have just went Taunt on the switch because I knew he was going to switch. And yeah, if I went Taunt on the switch, this thing wouldn't be able to set up, and that would have been good for me. Whatever. So I go on to Jolteon. He doesn't set up, which is good. I was afraid he would go for this sub or something. And yeah, this Jolteon is a Specs Jolteon, so I just want to hit this. I know I won't be able to kill with a Specs Thunderbolt because this Jirachi is probably very bulky, but I just wanted to get as much damage on this thing as possible before my Jolteon dies, because at this point I don't need Jolteon for anything in his team, and I just really want to get a lot of damage on that Jirachi. So I go on to Gengar. I hope he's predicting the revenge kill, so he switches, and he does switch, which is awesome because that gives me a sub, because this is a sub Gengar, and sub Gengars are freaking sweet. And yeah, he goes out into Swampert. I go for the Shadow Ball, hoping to kill it, but I don't, which is unfortunate for me. And he sets up the Stealth Rocks, so I still have my sub, so that's not so bad. I mean, he does have Stealth Rocks, and that was giving me the advantage all game, basically, because I had Stealth Rocks and he didn't, which gave me a huge advantage. Now that he finally has Stealth Rocks, though, I already do have a Pokemon advantage, so I'm hoping that it can carry me through the rest of the game. And I still have a sub with Gengar, which is nice. He goes for the Fire Blast, and I go for another sub to see what he'd lock himself into, because I know this thing's scarfed. And if he locks himself into Outrage, I'll be able to stall him. And if he Yeah, but he locks himself in a Fire Blast. I can't really stall that because even if Fire Blast misses, I just go for a sub, so I can't really stall it, if you get what I'm saying. I'm just going to take the free damage with Shadow Ball. I know it's not going to kill, and I'm just going to switch out now because I don't know if that Fire Blast would kill me or not. I go out into Gyarados for the resistance to Fire Blast, and yeah, I resist that pretty nicely as long as I don't get a burn, but I don't get a burn, so that's pretty good for me. So yeah, this is a free Dragon Dance for me, and that's really awesome because that means I can get another KO on something. So I get another free Dragon Dance, or I get a Dragon Dance, and he goes out into Jirachi, which is great because that means I can get a KO on this thing. I know I can kill it at this point after a Dragon Dance, and I'm faster after a Dragon Dance because this is Lefter versus Jirachi, and yeah, that Jirachi is destroyed, and that's awesome. Any switch, yeah, he goes out into Scizor. I'm not really sure why. I was expecting him to go out into Flygon for the revenge kill with Outrage, but he goes out into Scizor, and I do flinch him, which really sucks for him. He was probably going for the Swords Dance to get some more damage with Bullet Punch, but I get the flinch. I mean, it doesn't really matter too much because he ends up Bullet Punching me to a point that he can KO me with Outrage anyway, because even after his Swords Dance, he wouldn't be able to KO me with Bullet Punch, so I don't know really what he was going for there, but I flinch him, and that sucks for him. So, yeah, he goes out into Flygon, and he just goes for the Outrage because it's Scarfed, and that's going to take down my Gyarados. But now that he's locked into Outrage, I know I can go into my Metagross to set up because I resist that, and this is Agilagross, and I just go for the Agility because I know his last Pokemon is Infernape, which will be outsped after an Agility, and I go for another Agility because I wasn't quite sure if I could outspeed Scarf Flygon without the second Agility, and I didn't really feel like running the calc, and so I just do it just because I can, and it doesn't really hurt me. So yeah, he goes out into Infernape now, and I'm just going to go for the Earthquake, but he makes a pretty good play and goes back into Flygon, predicting the Earthquake, and I kind of told him that I had Thunder Punch on this Metagross, so I just kind of have to hope that I don't miss with Meteor Mash, and I don't, so I do KO the Flygon, and I will KO the Infernape next turn with Earthquake. So good game, KingDaddyDMAC. Like I said, check out his channel if you haven't already. He's a good battler, and he's a fun guy. I mean, if you don't check him out, you'll be missing out, so yeah, that's why you should check out his channel right now. Anyway, so the Infernape goes down, and that is game. Anyway, so rate, comment, subscribe, guys, and see you next time. And today's question of the day has to do with the E3 Expo that's been going on in the last couple days. And tell me what excites you about the E3 conference this year. There are a few things that excite me. First, the 3DS. And first I was a little skeptical, but from what I've heard from people who've seen it, it really has a neat 3D effect, and I really can't wait to see it myself. I probably will be getting it, so yeah, the 3DS is something I'm looking forward to. In addition to that, I'm a huge Star Wars nerd, and seeing those screenshots and those gameplay footage of The Force Unleashed 2, I cannot wait for it. That game looks absolutely amazing. I loved the original, and the new one just looks absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait for it. And yeah, it just my jaw dropped as I'm watching this. Another honorable mention is Final Fantasy 15, which is another online game, another MMO, just like I think Final Fantasy 11 was. And that looks really cool. I mean, if you like Final Fantasy, check that out. I mean, I probably won't play it since I'm kind of boycotting Final Fantasy because I want a new Chrono game. But yeah, but it does look good. So if you guys are like into Final Fantasy and like MMOs, that looks like a good game as well. So yeah, tell me what you liked or like about the E3 convention so far, and rate, comment, subscribe, guys. See you next time. Bye.